everyone. So this week we are focusing on stories about organizations and ethics. I'm going to tell you about an organization that has experienced some ethical issues in recent history. Once was a small business that was responsible for providing information in the form of weekly updates to several external companies. The required information included date-stamped photos and written updates about certain products. Eventually, the organization who was managing the products had enough products that they needed to hire another employee to help complete the updates. When they hired the new employee, they carefully selected someone who could edit photos. The employee was quickly trained in how to put dates on photos and submit them with a certain pattern of a written update. After a couple of months of working for the company, the new employee began to understand the implications of what she was being asked to do. Essentially, the employee was being asked to falsify information and send fake updates to the external companies. The process did not sit well with her conscience, but she continued to comply with her boss's orders. Later, the company was audited by the IRS and underwent a very stressful time. While the audit did not directly affect the employee, it further highlighted the ethical issues she was facing. Before long, she found a new position and left the company. I believe this story illustrates two of the theories of ethics presented in the text. First of all, it illustrates the utilitarian theory, and second, it illustrates the theory of rights. The utilitarian theory suggests that actions can be judged by their consequences, or outcomes. Basically, it's saying that if the consequences aren't too bad, or if there aren't any consequences, then an action must be okay. So basically, if I do this and I don't get punished for it, then it must be okay. Based on this theory, the organization in our story was doing okay. As long as they were careful, they did not experience any adverse consequences. The external company wasn't actually being hurt by the organization's false updates, thus the employer believed it was okay. He benefited, and the external company was not harmed. That's another aspect of the utilitarian theory. If it doesn't hurt anybody, then it must be okay. So, if I'm going to lie about something and it doesn't hurt anybody, then it's probably okay. The employer benefited, and the external company was not harmed. According to the utilitarian theory, his actions were okay. He didn't suffer any bad consequences, and neither did the external companies he was working with. The story also exhibits the theory of rights theory. This theory suggests that all individuals have certain inalienable rights that should be respected, everywhere, but especially in the workplace. The situation with falsifying the reports violated the employee's freedom of conscience, their freedom to refuse to do anything that goes against the moral conscience of that person, whether it's based on religion or just personal beliefs. When considering the theory of rights, the company's actions were most certainly unethical. The employee was uncomfortable with having to provide false information to the external companies. She felt that what the company was doing was wrong, and felt that it went against her conscience to have to provide the false reports. Thus, the actions of the company were unethical. In addition to reflecting poor ethical decisions in the organization, the story provides a reflection of the organization's values. Being a small company, the values were heavily dictated by the boss. The values that most strongly influenced the company was a constant thirst for more money. If no one was hurt by the company cutting corners, and they could make more money by doing so, why would they choose otherwise? This story reflects the ethical issues of many organizations. Some are constantly striving for money, so they cut corners. Others are simply lazy and want to take the easiest route to perform a task. And some don't care about whether something's true or not. They just want to do what they think is best. Some would argue that a certain action is okay as long as no one gets hurt, while others would say that any lie, whether or not it hurts anyone, is unethical. Personally, I wonder if the utilitarian theory is simply a way for people to excuse unethical decisions and behavior, a way to reason away the instincts of their conscience. I think that the theory of rights provides a much more accurate way to identify what is actually ethical. I don't think employees' rights should be taken away, or customers' rights, or anybody that a business's decisions would impact. I don't think their rights should be taken away. I think that deciding something is ethical based on whether or not there are consequences is not a very good analysis of whether those decisions are ethical. So what do you think?